Welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today as I sign a long overdue executive order. Overdue because this is an issue that has been front and center for us for many years in the city of Seattle. And I'm really honored to be standing with the people behind me today and this afternoon because they've been working on these issues and working on making sure that minority and women-owned businesses were vibrant and ongoing and made sure they had their fair share. But we all knew what Initiative 200 and all the laws and rules that came down after that did. And we want to make sure that as we stand for equity in the city of Seattle, we make sure that we better serve our women and minority-owned businesses. This is probably one of the most significant actions that our city is taking on contracting equity in over 20 years. The city of Seattle is a large buyer in our local economy. Most of us don't think about the city in terms of how itself contracts for businesses and purchases things. We have a responsibility to use our purchasing power to help small businesses that have been historically underserved and underused. And we know this work can't just be aspirational. That's why today we're breaking down barriers to ensure our women and minority-owned businesses can truly thrive here in Seattle. And we're setting ambitious goals and lasting processes to make sure we are fulfilling our commitment to community. The executive order I'm signing today does 4 key things to make sure that contracting is equitable in Seattle. First, we will commission immediately a disparity study. This will be critical for us to establish the exact level at which so many of our businesses have been locked out of the market. What are the current barriers to contracting, and how well are our current programs functioning? The second thing we will do is establish a strategic plan to improve our language-appropriate outreach to better serve immigrants and refugees in our community. So many of those owned businesses don't have the ability to know what is available, let alone how to apply for it and to understand what's available. We have an obligation to make sure that we have language-appropriate outreach. We know we need to be better, not just at using interpreters, but getting into communities and community-based organizations that themselves have those connections. Third, we will create a mayoral WMBE advisory committee to provide guidance and feedback on our contracting equity work. We want to continue to be held accountable, and this committee will help do that, as well as making sure that we are innovating and not stagnating. This committee will include local WMBE businesses and other groups like the LGBTQ, immigrant and refugee, emerging, and small businesses. We want to make sure that we bust open the doors of opportunity for everyone in Seattle, and particularly for those communities and businesses who have not been included in prosperity. Fourth, we will share data. We're going to expand outreach to overcome those historic barriers by inequitable access to information and data. We're going to use existing resources like our incredible community liaison programs in the Department of Neighborhoods to target outreach to WMBE firms to close that information gap. And I can see a few people here who've been involved in this a very long time. We really want to empower the people in government who work closely with these community-based organizations to make sure that everyone's getting the information they need to get the business they need to thrive. Ultimately, we know that none of this incredible work matters if we don't ensure internal accountability. That's why starting in 2020, the city will put together an annual report analyzing the previous year's progress and performance on contracting equity. We need these structures in place to ensure that these changes are lasting, impactful, and measurable. I want to acknowledge Council President Bruce Harrell, who could not be here because of work downstairs today, but he has been a dedicated ally and advocate for WMBE firms. I also want to thank the members of my cabinet, particularly Calvin Goings, who's here, for ensuring that outreach is a priority and that we got the necessary input to this executive order so it accurately reflects what the community thinks we need. I also want to thank everyone for joining us here today. And now you get to hear from a person, when you talk about tireless advocates for this kind of equity, I want to introduce OLLIE Garrett.
Thank you. I'm excited that the city is moving forward with this disparity study. Like the mayor said, it is long overdue. It is an important step to booster the city's contracting equity effort and make them impactful to our women and minority-owned businesses. The accountability and transparency. From the community perspective, it is important to see that the city has elevated these efforts by including contracting equity performance indicators on leadership performance agreements with the mayor. Also, city leadership in the advancement of equity in the community. With the growth of the city, it is good to see that the city is leveraging its position to promote inclusion of diverse businesses and workers. We are very excited about this. We know that there's a lot of work to be done, and we are looking forward to doing that work. And I'm now going to hand it off to Xiaoping.
It's a great honor to be here today to talk about how the City of Seattle's WMBE Inclusion Program has greatly benefited Concord Engineering in terms of contracting equity and inclusion. As a WMBE firm that provides civil engineering expertise in Seattle, contracting with the city has been a critical part of our growth and success. So in September 2012, Concord started as a two-person firm with a service on transportation planning, engineering, and electrical engineering. And this month marks the company's 7-year anniversary. And now we have 25 people. And we're still growing. Thanks to the city's WMBE program, we were able to join the Mercer West project and the Antioch Bay Civil project for engineering services. And these two projects really allowed us to establish in a very competitive engineering consulting market right after we got started. So since then, the city's contracting equity program has played a large part in the company's inclusion on city's projects, not only as a sub-consultant, but also as a prime consultant. So as of today, I'm very happy to state that Concord has delivered engineering services for over 50 projects in the city of Seattle. And with the city's WMBE program and the equity contracting opportunities, without the city's WMBE program and the equity contracting opportunities, Concord wouldn't have been able to accomplish so much in just 7 years. So as a small business owner, I am glad to see the city of Seattle bolstering its contracting equity program. Today's effort make important and lasting improvements to the city's contracting equity work. I look forward to continued partnership with Mayor Durkan and the City of Seattle to deliver projects for our residents. With that, I'll hand it over back to Mayor Durkan.
So I'm going to sign the executive order, then I'll take a few Q&As. I also want to thank all the staff in the various departments and right here in the mayor's office who have worked tirelessly on this, working with community and businesses to make sure that this really reflected what I heard, not just as campaigning, but also as mayor, the importance of making sure that we really do open up the city's business and make sure that those firms and businesses are represented. So with that, we'll sign it.
Great.
All right.
All right.
Gather around. What's the date today? The march towards greater equity begins. And I just want to say again, this would not have happened but for the hard work and advocacy of people like OLLIE and the other advocates behind me who daily are standing up to make sure that we're a city that really truly does share its prosperity. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right.